Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Langer at the Mic, where we're going to be previewing NFL Week 14. If you're asking why I'm wearing a neck pillow on my head, it's because of how bad my picks were last week, and I am self-proclaiming myself as the donkey of the week. But once again, we're joined here by Justin Pooni of Process Sports Radio, who's also having a good laugh at this. How's it going today, Justin?
I'm doing great. Sorry, I can't get over that. But I'm ready to do this, Mike.
All right, yeah, we'll try to get through this as best we can, but yeah, I'm honestly though, like I'm gonna do the best that I can to not screw up my picks this week. I will do. What's it called? I will attribute it to the fact that I had 3-4 weeks off over there, and I just started to over glorify my picks, getting back into it with with our go to the week, donkey of the week, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll make sure that we get it right as much as, or at least I'll get it right as much as I can this week. But once again, you could follow Justin Pooni at Process Sports Radio on Instagram, at _Process Sports Radio on Twitter, and of course at Process Sports on YouTube. I'll try to keep this up over here. And once again, I'm Mike Langer, both on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to Langer at the Mic on YouTube. Give us a big thumbs up on this video, especially if you want me to wear more stupid things on my head like this whenever I get my picks wrong. Yeah, Justin's giving me a good little face there to that. But yeah, of course, we're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. But let's get right into our Thursday night matchup between the New England Patriots and the LA Rams. So who do you got, Justin?
I think you got to go with the Rams right now, Mike. The way they played they kind of bounced back against that tough loss against San Fran. They looked good against Arizona. Their offense looked explosive once again. Jared Goff, he's having a decent year so far, right? I was listening to a couple people, online saying that Jared Goff is now truly an elite quarterback and all that stuff. I think you've talked about this before, that Goff, he's truly a system quarterback, and it's a testament to how great McVay is as a coach, right? So I definitely think the Pats, they're playing against the Chargers last week. And it wasn't really that much of a challenge. We know how good the Chargers are. They kind of gave up on their season. So give me the Rams. I think it'll be pretty handily. They're going to win by. I do think it'll be more exciting than the Super Bowl they played in a couple of years ago as well.
Yes, of course. And by the way, Justin, I forgot to mention that you did pretty well last week, except for your Chicago pick and your Seattle and your Pittsburgh picks.
Don't worry. This week I will not be making proclamations like I did for the Seahawks again, because they let me down.
But then again, logic said that that the Giants had no chance in that game against the Seahawks last year.
Mike, as a Seahawks fan, the Seahawks somehow defy logic quite frequently. You had the ball at the 1 yard line. Could have handed the ball to Marshawn Lynch and get it back-to-back Super Bowls. That's an extra argument for another day.
But you know what does not defy logic, however? The Eagles being terrible this year, and you nailed that.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you?
You nailed that, Justin. You nailed that last week. Yeah. Good on you for that. Jalen Hurts became the starting quarterback, taking over for Carson Wentz in that game, who got benched, and it looks like Jalen Hurts will be the guy going forward. So, so you have the Rams in this one. I guess if there's any time for me to make a dumb pick or a dumb take, it's now. And I'm going to come out and say, oh my God, I can't believe how stupid I look. But whatever. I found, again, the stupid neck pillow on my head.
Okay, Mike. It's okay,
a nice green t-shirt. But yeah. Anyway, so I believe that Jared Goff, like you said, I had told you previously, is a system quarterback, and he's essentially Tom Brady with more turnovers. That's what he is.
You're giving Tom Brady a little bit too much, giving Goff a bit too much credit there, I think. I don't think he's Tom Brady with.
Well, but if you look at, I honestly have to, I want to do a little more research into this. I should have done a little more research into this. I just thought of this now, but I want to compare Tom Brady's early first 4 years in the NFL to Jared Goff's first 4 years in the NFL. Now,
yeah, that could be an interesting comparison. Now, I think Goff's numbers will be better because
passing league.
It's a different league now, right? But I think, who I think a good comparison would be is he's kind of like Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford kind of hybrid. He's got a little bit less talent, right? But he's a kind of a similar mold, if that kind of makes any sense, right? He's kind of that school of quarterback.
Yeah, like a pocket type of quarterback who's prone to
pocket quarterback who doesn't have a lot of movement, right? Although Stafford, Stafford can move around, right? But I just don't think that he needs everything to go perfectly right for him to be successful, right? He doesn't elevate his team, right? And you look at the system he's in. The system he's in, he's the perfect quarterback for it. Whether it's the bootlegs that they run, the play action, um, they have speedy receivers and stuff like that as well,
And of
right? It
course,
looks
Sean
like they're
McVay is
rushing
a
it.
really good play caller.
Of course, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, probably two of the most brilliant offensive minds in football.
Now, with all that being said, I'm taking the Patriots in this one. Why? Because they have been in California after having played the LA Rams. I did research this beforehand, and I'll try to keep this up here. I did research this beforehand. The Patriots stayed in California following their 30 or 42 to nothing or 45 nothing win against 45 nothing win against the Chargers last week. So they're settled into LA. This is kind of a home game for them if you think of it, because again, they're settled in there for over 2 weeks or a week and a couple of days. Yeah. And there's no fans at SoFi Stadium. The LA Rams and Chargers are one of the a couple of teams that don't allow any fans and haven't all season. So I just think that this is where Bill Belichick, again, game planning the same way he I think I predicted right that game against the Cardinals, the Patriots against the Cardinals game, and I said how Belichick's going to find something wrong with Kyler Murray and just exploit it. But then again, the Cardinals also failed to convert a couple of crucial fourth downs in that game. Yeah. So I see something happening, something similar happening in this one, where Belichick is just going to get the best of Sean McVay and Jared Goff, and the Patriots will continue winning somehow. They were down. They seemed to be down and out a few weeks ago, but they have made
right back in the thick of the playoff race.
Oh yeah.
A quick point on that. So I was looking it up before we our show today. Did you know Cam Newton's only thrown for 5 touchdown passes this year?
But do you think Bill Belichick cares about that?
No, he doesn't. I think New England knows that Cam has limitations in his throwing game, right? So they try to keep the passing attempts down, and they try to hand the ball off and use him for running, QB draws, QB powers, hand the ball off, short passes in that aspect, right? But it was just interesting to me to see how, a lot of people are saying that Cam has he had COVID and stuff, but he's got 80 passer rating. He's got 5 TDs and 9 interceptions on the year, about 2,000 yards passing, right? So statistically, he's not having a very good year.
Oh yeah, right? He's a horrible passer this year. Terrible passer.
Horrible, right? But yet somehow the Patriots are still in the thick of the playoff run in the AFC.
Who's their head coach again?
Bill Belichick.
There you go.
That's exactly right.
I should acknowledge, though, the Rams obviously have one of the best defenses in the league this year, and that could definitely be a problem for the Patriots. But
I definitely think their secondary. I mean, I don't suspect that Cam Newton will try Jalen Ramsey at all this game. I don't suspect that whatsoever. And I think Aaron Donald, man, he's a tough guy to take down, right? So that's why I'm rolling with the Rams, because I feel they have the more talent, more firepower. Plus, trust me, if I want the Rams to lose, I'm the first person I want the Rams to lose, because I don't want them in first place in the division anymore. But I do think that it's a talent disparity and stuff like that. It'll just be too high for the Patriots to overcome. But like you did say, Bill Belichick, greatest coach of all time. You never know. Game planning machine.
And and also the Rams have just been such a difficult team to pick this year, because on the one hand they beat Arizona, they beat the Patriots. Sorry, the Patriots. They beat Tom Brady and the Bucks, and then they turn around and lose to San Fran at home. And they've had some really questionable losses,
but I think that's been said for a lot of teams this year, if you think about it, right? A lot of teams.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's been a different year. Like there were a lot of teams you expect to win games, they end up losing, right? Or a team like, for example, Tampa gets blown out twice, or Green Bay gets blown out by Tampa, or Seattle loses to the Giants, right? You could kind of sense that it's kind of a weird year right now, where crazy things are happening and upset wise.
Yeah, and a lot of that I think just has to do with the fact that it's 2020, shortened off season, guys coming in and out of the lineup with COVID, injuries on at an all-time high, for sure. 1,000%. Anyway, so let's get right next to our next segment. We have our 9 to win in 90 seconds. And Justin, I'll let you do the honors once again this week. You go ahead first. I will time you. Are you ready?
So we're going to go from right until the San Francisco and Washington football team. Yes, I am.
You got it. All right. Ready? In 3, 2, 1.
Texans at Bears. I think Deshaun Watson, the Texans take it. I just think that he's going to figure it out to pull this one out. I don't think Chicago would take much stock into anything Chicago does. I think they're just a team that needs a quarterback and needs something to fix that offense, and that's the quarterback. Titans and Jaguars, give me the Titans. They're going to bounce back after a poor showing against the Browns. Jacksonville's going nowhere. Denver, Carolina, give me Carolina. It's pretty much one of the most interesting games out there. It doesn't mean much either way, so give me Carolina. Your Cowboys and Bengals. I'm going to take your Cowboys, Mike. I think your Cowboys to beat the Bengals simply because they don't have Joe Burrow, the Bengals do, and I think the Cowboys will pull out that victory. Kansas City, Miami. Give me Kansas City. In a close game, though, the point spread is 7 right now, but I think Miami, they are playing very well. I love Brian Flores as a coach. I take that Miami, but I take Miami to take the under and give me Kansas City to win that game. Arizona Giants, give me the Giants on back-to-back weeks. I've told them with the Giants. I think their defense is really playing well. Bucks Vikings, give me the Bucks. I think Tom Brady after a bye week will be much refreshed. Colts and Raiders. And an upset, I'm taking the Raiders. I think that Hail Mary is going to really help them out. Jets Seahawks, give me the Seahawks. Not by 13 though. Packers and Lions, give me the Packers. Falcons, Chargers, Falcons, and Saints and Eagles. Jalen Hurts is going to play well, but the Saints will win. And the 49ers will beat Washington.
Interesting. All right, so I agree with you on some of those, but I'll get to mine in a second here. And yeah, just like I said with some of those points that you made, you'll see. I'll just get right into mine. So you can bring out the clock whenever you're ready.
The clock, Mike, whenever you are ready.
All right, let's do this as best
All right, ready?
With again, hopefully we'll see.
Maybe the hat will bring you some good luck.
Hey, maybe it will, and maybe I'll have to wear it on every show going forward. We'll see.
Maybe.
All right, whenever.
Ready, Mike?
All right, I'm ready. Yes, sir.
Ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so Houston Texans over Chicago Bears. As you mentioned, this is Deshaun Watson, I think, playing his first game against the Chicago Bears in his career, the team that passed on him and took Mitch Trubisky trading up, and instead of taking Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes. So give me Houston in that game over Chicago. Give me the Tennessee Titans over the Jacksonville Jaguars, but don't discard the Jacksonville Jaguars. They've played in a lot of close games this year. They're probably the best 1-10 team of all time based on how many close games that they've played in this year. Yes, and give me Carolina over Denver. Just, I think, pretty simple. You have Denver coming to the East Coast. McCaffrey may or may not be back. I don't know. He tweaked his quad in practice today, but we'll see. Give me Carolina over Denver. Arizona over New York Giants. I just think that Arizona and Kyler Murray and that offense will start figuring things out and get the win over the Giants in this one. Give me Tampa Bay over Minnesota. The Bucks and Tom Brady coming off of the bye, like you said, will be a huge factor. Minnesota has a chance, but again, coming off the bye, the Bucks, give me them over Minnesota. Green Bay over Detroit. Aaron Rodgers, enough said. LA Chargers over Atlanta Falcons. I think that could be one of my upsets of the week. But I just think the Chargers are bound to win a game with Justin Herbert, and it will be this one over Atlanta. You have two teams that are essentially mirrors of each other in this one. But yeah, give me a LA. And give me the Saints over the Eagles, just because the Saints are better than the Eagles, and I think Jalen Hurts will not be ready. And give me Washington over San Fran as well, in in Glendale, Arizona, and that's it. Right as time expired. Yes.
Right at the buzzer.
Yes.
I like your. It was very hard for you to pick San Fran over Washington. Very hard because I really like what Washington's doing, beating Pittsburgh and stuff like that. But I just feel I think the emotional lift they got from beating Pittsburgh is gonna be a lull playing the 49ers. I think the 49ers, they're still kind of kicking around the playoff bar as well. But I think that's going to be a very close game. It's a very close game to call.
Yeah, two teams, that with really strong defenses, two really well-coached teams as well this year.
Yeah.
Just the only limitation for Washington has been their offense, but even that was okay this year. They moved the ball, or last week against Pittsburgh, they moved the ball well. They just didn't put up. I mean, they put up enough points to win, but it wasn't like they didn't blow the doors off Pittsburgh either. I mean, they're undefeated, so you wouldn't expect them to. But
and Pittsburgh was playing with house money. I feel at that time, like I feel like they were not really a true 11-0 team at that point. In example.
Yeah, and it's just so hard to go undefeated in the NFL and then win a Super Bowl after a perfect 16-0 season. Like you've seen Carolina fall to 15-1. Yeah, that year.
Green Bay had a 15-1 year one year.
But if you look at their losses, Carolina that year lost to Atlanta, who didn't make the playoffs. Green Bay lost to Kansas City, who ended up going 7-9. So it's very tough to go 16-0 and eventually just get too cocky, and you get a team that's with something to prove, that's nitty gritty, tough to play against, that you end up facing later in the season, and they take advantage of it. And
another thing is, do you really want to go 16-0 in a year? Like, how about think about all that pressure on there on your team, right? To go 16-0,
I
and
mean,
then
if
I
you
mean
look at the
it's
Miami Dolphins from I think 73, I have my buddy, the Dolphins fan, who just again always reminds everyone of that. Like, I think that's definitely something
it's something. Like, don't get me wrong, it's something. But I feel like in this current age we live in, this crazed media age we live in, right? Think about all the coverage it would be 16-0. Even when the Patriots went 16-0, right? Imagine just that pressure had to get on their shoulders at some point, right? Where they had to feel like, oh my god, the whole weight of the world is on us, right? Um,
But who is their coach again?
Bill Belichick.
Exactly. So I just think that they the fact they made it to the Super Bowl after going 16-0 and came that one game away, a David Tyree catch away from essentially having a perfect season,
Mhm.
just shows how just how that was probably one of the best NFL teams of all time, that
Yeah,
2007 Patriots team.
definitely,
But
right?
here's I will say this though. So if I would say if you already won a Super Bowl, so you look at the Kansas City Chiefs right now, that would be a source of motivation for them,
To go
to go
16 and
16 and
0,
0.
right? Yeah, for sure. But you look at you think about it, right? Like, I think Kansas City's the class of the NFL right now, right? I think they're kind of head and shoulders above everybody else, right? Their defense, it's not the best, right? But I
Hey,
think
but
with
they still have
Mahomes,
good players on defense
they
though.
do. Tyron
Yeah.
Matthew, Frank Clark, Chris Jones, of course, right? And they could turn that around, right? But I just think Kansas City, even when Pittsburgh was 11-0, I still felt they're not going to beat Kansas City. There's no match for Kansas City, right? So like you said, I think if Kansas City were to go 16-0 and win a Super Bowl, then that would be something, right? That would be something, like you said, something that you would really think, oh my God, this is the greatest team of all time. I don't think anybody would have thought that with the Pittsburgh Steelers, right?
For sure, and like you said, like that's where I feel like for a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who might not be as reflective as their record, that loss might actually be good for them because
Yeah.
now that will get them motivated again and playing with a little bit
It brings
more.
them back down. It kind of pops that bubble that they were in, right?
Exactly,
It
yeah,
kind
and
of
it just
resets everything, which I think would be a good thing for them going into the playoffs, where they could tweak on things that they need to work on, right? Like, the running game's atrocious. Pittsburgh's running game, it's horrible right now,
yeah, just they haven't gotten anything going all year,
and you're
and
just
just
relying on
the
you
fact
can't
that they
rely on
didn't. The fact that they got barely 70 yards against the Cowboys is just enough in itself right
and
there. So
exactly, and you can't ask Big Ben to throw the ball 50 times in a game every week and expect to win. That's just not a good formula to win, especially in the playoff time, right?
for sure. And well, with that being said, let's advance to our glorified picks of the week. So we're going to talk about our lock and load. I'll be very careful with this one, and I'll go first because, again, I'm the donkey of the week right here. Um, the New York Jets aren't going to win a game this year. So I locked Seattle against the Giants last week. I'm going to lock Seattle again against the New York Jets. That's my lock of the week. Your Seattle Seahawks. They might win by only one possession, sure, but I don't see the Jets can't possibly win they can't win a game this year. Never mind winning at Seattle, can they?
They almost beat the Raiders last week. And from what I saw from the Seahawks last week, man, it was frustrating. It was very frustrating for me. Um, the Giants are a very well coached defensive team, and the Jets have no defensive
Defensive team, not offensive.
Yes, yes.
Defensive.
And here's the thing: Jamal Adams is going up against the Jets, and
Oh, of course.
I know Jamal Adams, the way he's wired, he's just gonna want to just attack every single aspect of the Jets, and he's gonna be so fired up to play against the Jets. I have the Seahawks winning, right? I just not gonna make my lock of the week this week, like you. So going into my lock of the week, I'm gonna go with Saints over the Eagles. That's my lock. I think Jalen Hurts is gonna play well. I think he's gonna have some momentum because he's gonna be a fresh start, and this Philly team can kind of like mold around him, right? I think this potentially could be something that they can move forward as a stepping stone to possibly. I don't know if they're going to get back into the playoff hunt now with the Jets and the Washington team, but I think it's something they can build on, right? I think Jalen Hurts will have a good game, but I just think the Saints are too talented. They're too talented, too powerful, and they're going to roll over the Eagles.
And by the way, Drew Brees is not expected to play. He's supposed to
But
come
Taysom Hill
off
threw two.
IR.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like I said, Taysom Hill. Thought he was going to get pulled, and Jameis Winston was going to come in. I was wrong. He threw two touchdowns, and he proved me wrong. He is actually a quarterback.
But at least you picked the outcome of that game right, unlike
I
me.
did.
So yeah, at least you got that part right. So all right, now let me ask you, Justin, who will shine in prime time? We got the Bills hosting the aforementioned Pittsburgh Steelers, who are now 10-1 on the year at home in Buffalo, and then on Monday Night Football you have the Ravens at Cleveland on Monday Night Football. So who's gonna shine in prime time, Justin?
Ooh, these are actually really, really good games. I'm actually like this is one of the only weeks where Monday Night Football and Sunday Night Football have two very good matchups, right? It's normally the Sunday night game is really good, and we have a lull on the Monday night game. Um, I think, I think the Cleveland Browns. I think Cleveland beats Baltimore in a statement game where they prove that they're not the whipping boy of the division anymore, and that they're here. They're here. I think this is the game where Kevin Stefanski and Nick Chubb, Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry, Myles Garrett, and the Cleveland Browns finally say, "Hey, we're not the same old Cleveland Browns that are the joke. We're here now. We're forces in the AFC. You have to come. You have to respect us now." And I think they beat the Baltimore Ravens on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, and what about the Bills game? I'll get to that game in a sec. But
Yeah,
what about
Bills
the
game. I think the Bills take it. I think the Bills take it. I think Pittsburgh, on a quasi short week. I think Buffalo's gonna be fired up playing Sunday night at home because they don't get very many Sunday night games at home, right? I think Josh Allen is played very well last week. I think I think the Buffalo will defeat Pittsburgh. It'll be a very good game. I think that's gonna be a very good game as well because it's like I said, two elite teams in the AFC going at it. But I think Buffalo will pull it out, and I think Pittsburgh might be in a little bit of trouble after that.
So I'll be honest with Buffalo first. I'll get to the really fun Baltimore Cleveland matchup in a bit, but I'll be honest about the Bills. I'm a Bills hater. I'll just say straight up, I am a Bills hater because, and a Josh Allen hater specifically, as I adjust my stupid head pillow or neck pillow here. But just to me, coming out of that 2018 draft, just Josh Allen was just a running back with a strong arm. That's the way I saw Josh Allen, and I just honestly, I was dead wrong about the fact that I thought Josh Rosen, Baker Mayfield, and Sam Darnold would all be better than Josh Allen. And just coming out of that draft, honestly, I really thought.
I think a majority of people would have thought the same sentiment. I mean, I thought the same thing too.
Yeah, and it looked
I
that
didn't.
way in the first in 2018, 2019, but Josh Allen has just really taken another step this year. And you know what? I'm not gonna say I'm gonna get all on board the Bills Mafia train here, but you know what? I just think that they're just gonna they're gonna beat Pittsburgh. They're just gonna Pittsburgh coming off that loss. They will have something to prove, so they're gonna play hard. It's not gonna be easy for Buffalo, but I just think that Buffalo is one of the few strong opponents that Pittsburgh has faced this year, and
Yeah.
it will happen. It'll result in the second loss of the season for the Steelers. So give me Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, shining on Sunday night.
If the
And
Bills win, Mike, can we have you jump through a table of Bills Mafia style?
if I could find a table that I can jump through without breaking myself, yes, for sure. If I could find one of those like flimsy plastic tables, then absolutely. But do we have any of those at CSM? I don't think we do, right?
I think that might hit your tuition cost if you did that, Mike. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then maybe not.
maybe that's
But
not a good idea.
maybe when I get home over the holidays, I will. We'll
There
see.
you go.
But
Perfect.
anyway, so now on Monday Night Football, the Cleveland Browns, man, they just. I know this is a cliche, but that was a statement win and a half
Very
by
much a statement.
Cleveland. Baker Mayfield was dangerous, and then some. 4 touchdowns in that first half alone. I honestly thought that Tennessee was Tennessee was going to take care of Cleveland that game. I thought Tennessee was going to win. I just thought that because if they can run Derrick Henry down their throats and they can play action off of that and burn you in the passing game. And I really didn't think that Baker Mayfield would be able to make all those plays and make enough plays to win the game. And with Tennessee also, in that game, just keep in mind there was that really critical 4th and 1 call that went in Cleveland's favor, where I think Derrick Henry got a terrible spot. But anyway, that was last week. In this game, I just think that, again, Baltimore, they did have an easy win against the Cowboys. We all know that last night on Tuesday because the Cowboys' run defense is atrocious. But by the way, Lamar Jackson only threw for about 102 yards. Lamar Jackson did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And against an actual and good Cleveland Browns defense with Myles Garrett back in the fold, of course, they're gonna have to throw for a lot more than 102 yards. So
Is Denzel Ward still out?
I'm not 100% sure. We might have to fact check that.
Let me.
But still, either way, whether Denzel Ward is in or not, I just think that this Browns offense is just, figured things out,
Mhm.
and it will be good enough to beat a Ravens team that has been really up and down and then some this year. So yeah, give me the Cleveland Browns, Baker Mayfield, maybe not Baker Mayfield, but give me the Browns and their running game and also their pass defense shining in prime time.
Perfect. Just for all you Browns fans out there, shout out to Peter Walker, who is a Browns fan. Denzel Ward is questionable for the game.
That'd be huge for them. I mean, especially if Denzel Ward can go, what receivers can outmatch the Cleveland secondary? What Baltimore receivers can outmatch?
I mean,
Like,
Des Bryant might have been able to in the end zone, but Des Bryant looks like he quit football after
oh my
last night.
God, yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah,
That was such a weird situation. I'm saying terrible because it's like so unfortunate for Dez.
it was
Look,
super
if you
unfortunate for
tested
Des.
positive, you can't play. But why do you have to find that out like a half an hour before
During
the
warm
game?
up, right? Like, you should
Yeah,
be being tested like how many times a day did they get tested, right? It just didn't make sense to me at all.
that's like Justin Turner level. Like
Exactly, it
Justin
is.
Turner
That's the
being
first thing I thought about
positive
Justin Turner,
COVID.
right?
Yeah,
Exactly. So
and then going on the field in the celebration, like that's just and without a mask, like that
yeah,
was just anyway.
I feel
Um,
for Des. Honestly, I was really excited to see. I know we talked about it last week on when I was on last week. We were talking about how it'd be awesome to see Des catch a touchdown and throw the X up against the Cowboys. I thought that would have been such a comeback story for Des Bryant, and it's so unfortunate that he just can't catch those breaks. I really feel bad for Des.
Yeah, me too, man. I really wish I could have seen that. And a lot of good comeback stories in this year, if you think of it. I mean, yeah, 2020
Alex
is
Smith.
fucked.
Alex Smith's a great story.
Yeah, Alex Smith, Alden Smith, Dez. Like, there's a lot of good comeback
What a
stories in
great
this
comeback
year,
stories. And
even
hopefully
though
next year there's more comeback stories with Saquon, Odell, and all those guys that hit him.
Dak, hello.
That, of course.
For sure.
Sorry, Mike. I totally forgot what the Dallas Cowboys post from the
That's
backfield.
all good. My hat here is blocking it, so yeah.
Blocking.
But yeah, so now the donkey of the week, which is me. So
Yes, that's
now
you, man.
the donkey of the week is or the donkey of the day is me, but who will be the donkey of week 14 on Sunday? I'll
Would
let
you
you
like me
go
to go
first.
first, Mike?
No, I'll let you go first because I'm the
Okay.
donkey, man. I gotta be
Okay, I'll
careful
go
with this.
first. Oh, so
And I got a
this week.
surprise for you, by the way. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay, nice. This week, I think Philip Rivers takes a donkey of the week. I think Philip Rivers is going to have a rough game against a Raiders defense that is not very good, right? I think Philip Rivers cost Indianapolis a game, and this is a very big game for playoff implications because both teams are in that wild card race, right? I think Philip Rivers definitely, turns the ball over. It goes back to Philip Rivers of old, kind of turning the ball over quite a bit, and puts the Colts in a position where they then it puts their playoff hopes into a little bit of jeopardy there. So I got Philip Rivers being the donkey of the week.
Philip Rivers is honestly a great candidate for donkey of the week every week. So I could see that happening. But you know what? My donkey of the week will be the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, no
My
way.
Dallas Cowboys are going to lose to the Cincinnati Bengals. The
But if they're
Cincinnati,
donkeys of the season, can they really be donkeys of the week though?
like, sure, because if they're donkeys of the season, that implies that they're donkeys of every single week.
Fair
So
enough. Touche. Touche.
I believe Ryan Finley will be starting at quarterback for the Bengals. And
Yeah.
even though Andy Dalton will be making his return, that run defense, man, just can't stop anything. Anything. The Cowboys' run defense is just so bad right now. I think Andy Dalton will have a good game. Don't get me wrong. I think Andy Dalton will get at least 2 touchdowns in his return to Cincinnati, and the Cowboys' offense will be okay. Cowboys' offense will be okay. And but the Bengals don't have an offensive line, of course, and like that protects quarterbacks. They have an offensive line, of course, but they don't have an offensive line that protects quarterbacks very well, or even protects their teammates when there's an all-out brawl going onto the field. That was really trash, by the way, for that Bengals player to friggin' knock
It was
out
Jordan
Jakeem.
Howard and I forget who the Bengals player was.
I don't know. I don't know I forget who it was that started that whole thing, but it all started with the Bengals just completely knocking out Jakeem Grant on a fair catch
Yeah.
call, and that was just trash. Like the Bengals are just a goon organization, but you know what? If I think they're just gonna run all over the Cowboys in the run game. They may not have 300 yards like or almost 300 yards like the Ravens had yesterday, or the Browns had back in week 3 or week 4, whatever it was. But they're just gonna, if they're smart, which they aren't, but if they are smart on Sunday, they will run right down the Cowboys' throats and they will beat the Cowboys, and the Cowboys will become the donkeys of the week to their advantage, because then they will slide into the number 3rd overall draft slot. So yeah, Cowboys will be the donkey of the week this week.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see. I definitely am very interested. There's a lot of intriguing matchups this week, to be honest with you. No, I know we're talking about your donkey of the week, the Cowboys. I just hope you're not the donkey of the day next week, because I do not want to see you with that hat on again.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. No promises. I mean, I just hope my lock of the Seattle Seahawks being the Jets holds true. That's all.
Man, I hope you're right too. I can't have back-to-back losses again, especially
both to New York, both the really bad New York teams. I mean, the Giants.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I liked that. It was Seattle played bad, yes, but the Giants also played well in the defensive end. Now, the Seattle's offensive line was absolutely garbage. The one guy that got put in at right tackle, I forget his name now because I've never heard of him before. Leonard Williams, people were just throwing him aside. I don't remember what his name was. People were just throwing him aside, and you can't have that, right? So
I know the feeling.
I think the Seahawks will win. I think Jamal Adams will finally get an interception and get the haters to stop questioning him about his picks when he's been an absolute force when he's out there. But I don't know if it's going to be 13 points though.
Well, yeah, we'll see. I mean, they might be 13 points might be enough to beat the Jets, but we'll see. Even with Sam Darnold under center and their full complement of weapons, again, we'll see. But you know what? Let's get into our brainlessly bold prediction, and I got a fun brainlessly bold prediction for you today.
I want you to go first, Mike.
Awesome. All right. So my brainlessly bold prediction is that the Miami Dolphins will upset the Kansas City Chiefs in Miami.
Ooh. Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
I like that. That's very bold. Very bold, Mike.
Give me Tua Tagovailoa with at least, let's say, 300 yards passing, or let's go with 250 yards passing at least, another 40 yards rushing, 1 rushing touchdown, 2 passing touchdowns from Tua Tagovailoa.
Right. Okay. I like that.
And the Chiefs, by the way, the Dolphins defense has, I don't know how many games they have in a row with forcing a turnover. They will force Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs into 3 turnovers.
Wow.
That is brainlessly bold right there.
That is very bold. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Mr. Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady throws 4 touchdown passes to 4 different receivers, and there'll be Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski, and Antonio Brown gets the end zone again.
Of course,
and then I also have this. Last there. I also have this too. Antonio Brown will get over 100 yards receiving this week.
Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
Brainlessly bold. I don't think Antonio Brown has had. He's been good when he's been targeted, but just because I guess they have Mike Evans, like you said, Chris Godwin, Gronk, all ahead of them, all ahead of Anthony Brown in terms of their depth in terms of weapons. But yeah, that is pretty bold. I'll give you that. All it takes is one big play, like 150, 60-yard bomb, and that's pretty much over 100 yards right there. I think
that is going to propel Antonio Brown to get his confidence back, and therefore be once again recognized as Tony Toe Tap.
Tony Toe Tap. I like it. All right. Well, again, this was fun. Let's hope. Justin, again, you've been good with your picks these last couple of weeks. I have not, especially with my locks. So we'll see how everything ends up on Sunday. And I hope I don't have to wear this stupid thing next week, or I hope I don't force myself to wear this stupid.
I will be praying you don't have to wear that hat next week.
Pardon?
I will be praying that you don't have to wear that hat next week.
Yeah. Well, again, it's if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I forgot to mention at the top of the show, but I'm wearing a neck pillow on my head and my
Dallas Cowboy blue neck pillow.
Yeah, Dallas Cowboys blue neck pillow and a very ugly green 12 bars Christmas. Yeah, my 12 bars shirt from my shirt from 12 bars a couple of years ago. So yeah, I just found the stupidest clothes that I can wear, and for your entertainment, of course. But
definitely was entertaining, Mike.
Yeah, thank you. And but once again, that is Justin Pooni of Process Sports. Give him a follow at Process Sports Radio on Instagram, at _Process Sports on Twitter, Process Sports Radio on YouTube, of course. And I'm Mike Langer, both on Twitter and Instagram. Give a big thumbs up on this video and subscribe to my channel here at Langer at the Mic. And once again, this has been an NFL Week 14 preview show of Langer at the Mic. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and we'll see you again next time.
Take care.